Hi there, my name's Phil Leggiter. I'm a developer evangelist at Pusher. This is a video showing how to connect to Pusher and also provide you with a bit of information how to debug connecting and how you might use our connection states functionality. So a little bit about Pusher before we get started. We're a hosted service. This means we're infrastructure as a service. We're real-time infrastructure as a service. This means that you don't need to deal with scaling your real-time functionality infrastructure. We obviously handle that for you. In the same way that Twilio handle communications for you, SendGrid handle email for you, we handle real-time functionality. But I also recommend you have a look at the overview video, which shows some of the examples of real-time functionality. Our focus is to let developers and businesses spend time building features and cool stuff and not configuring and managing and scaling infrastructure. So here are some of the key concepts to Pusher. You obviously need to connect to Pusher, and this is what we'll cover in the video. You need to subscribe to Pusher to receive information, and then you obviously need to be able to publish information. So we'll focus on connection. So let's get the code from the Real-Time Web Workshop. This is in GitHub. You can follow the URL, or you can go to j.mp/pusher-workshop. And I'll clone this. Okay, we'll open up Sublime. You see there's a number of different sections in here at the minute, and I'll add some more examples, but we'll jump into the start. So what we're going to do is we're just going to connect to Pusher and demonstrate that we are connected in a number of different ways. So we're going to create the application here is a simple HTML page, but it also includes jQuery mobile framework. This means that it'll appear nice on a mobile device as well. So if we have a look at this at the minute, we jump into connect and we jump into start, we'll see it's just says hello world. So in order to connect to Pusher, we're going to use the JavaScript library. Within our documentation, you'll see we have a list of libraries here. We're going to client libraries and JavaScript, and we have with two CDN hosted versions of the script. We'll just take the HTTP one and we'll include that in our app. Okay, so we've now got the library. So how do we actually connect? So the first thing we need is an application to connect to within Pusher. So once you've signed in, you'll go to app.pusher.com and you can create a new application. Okay, we'll create a Real-Time Web Workshop. And within there's an API access section. Now that provides you with the information you need in order to connect and publish. We'll take this key. We'll also have another quick look at the documentation. So the docs provide you with the information you need, but also it's a focus on how do you achieve something. So under the using Pusher sections, a client API overview, we want to actually connect. So here's the information, connect. We create a new Pusher object and pass in our application key and optionally some options. So in here, that says we're connected. If we now load this application, we're connected. But how do you actually know? So one of the pieces of tooling that we provide whilst developing is a Debug Console within the dashboard. So if we go into the dashboard and then Debug Console is waiting for events. Now this exposes internal events that are happening within Pusher. So if we refresh this page, you'll see there's a disconnection. So the page is unloaded, that's a disconnection event, and then when it loads again, it connects. We can do that again. Cool. Now let's also try that with an iOS app. So this is the same URL, localhost 8001_connect start, and you saw the connection event coming in, and I'll unload it, there's a disconnection, and then there's a reconnection. So that's great. So you'll also want to know that, well, there will be many cases where you actually want to know about your connection state within the application. So for instance, if you go offline, or just generally when you've connected and you know you're connected to push and you know you're going to start receiving real-time information. So the first thing in terms of development that's really handy is a pusher.log property. So this is on the pusher class, like a static property. And you can assign a function, and you can log information about what's going on within the library. So if I now open the Javascript console, there's nothing there. If I reload the page, you'll see over there we get information. Over in the Debug Console we get information about the connection state changes, and also within the JavaScript console we get that information. So that's great, but what happens if you actually want to do something in your code, so maybe show an indicator of whether you're connected? So let's do that. Let's create an element up here. So we're going to start showing our connection state within our application up there. So there's nothing at the minute. So if we jump back over to our documentation, you'll see we've got connection states. So firstly, within Pusher, everything is kind of an event. So you trigger an event, you subscribe to channels, and you bind to events. So connection is exactly the same thing. The events occur, for instance, the connection is initially initialized, then we're connecting, and then we're connected. And there are some failure states as well. So you can bind to events on a connection object, which is on an instance of Pusher. So you can bind to individual connection states or state change events. So here we've got state change. So this tells you what the previous state was and what the current state is. So we're going to bind to that. And we'll create a state change function. And what we'll do, jQuery is included, so we can just quickly access this element. And we'll set the text to the current connection state value. So if we now open up our app, refresh the page, you'll see we've got connected. If we do the same thing in the iOS simulator, you'll see we also get connected. So that doesn't look very nice, but what you might actually want to do is provide a better connection indicator. So if we jump to the solution, you'll see when we're not connected it's red. Let me open up the Debug Console. Now we're not connecting at the moment because we're not providing an app key. If I take this app key, I jump into the solution, I put my application key in there, I jump back to the app, I refresh the page, you'll see we're now green because we're connected, and we can do the same thing. We can show the page in our iOS library as well. Cool, we're connected. So that's it. So that's showing how to include the script tag, connect to Pusher, determine whether we're connected or not by using the Debug Console, the Pusher logging functionality in the JavaScript library, and also through code.